Evening. I'm back. I know I've been away for a while, but can y'all hear me here? Something seems to be wrong with my sound. There we go. There we go. Sounding good, live and clear, loud and clear. Been really busy this weekend, doing this, that, and the other. Been working on my house a little bit. Again, anybody out there wants to listen to me on Spreaker, they need to go to Spreaker.com/user/Big Al Morgan. That's all I know to tell you. My website, alexmorganshow.com, it's down right now for maintenance, but it should be back up and running. I've got away from the Blog Talk Radio as of late. I don't know, it wasn't really agreeing with my viewership and what they wanted you to pay for it a month and all this. Folks, I beg you, I need your support. I hate to beg for anybody. I do. I really hate to beg to anybody. But, I mean, at this point, I don't have much of a choice. My viewership is down. Well, I wouldn't say it's down, but it's surely not as high as it needs to be. My online store ain't been making much money, to say the least. I haven't been getting enough attention from my viewers as of late. I really feel like giving up at sometimes, but then again, you know, I feel like there's a wall out there that I just can't seem to punch through. I just can't seem to get through that wall for some reason. I'm not saying that Google's blocking these videos that I'm putting out or anything like that, but you know, you never know. Whether it's a geographical kind of censorship, or it's just a full onslaught of censorship. It doesn't matter, folks. We need to win this information war no matter what. Hands down. Now, I've been sending out a newsletter the past week or so. That's something else that wasn't getting enough attention. Folks, I don't do this stuff to, for my health or for anything like that. I do this stuff for you. I do this stuff for my country. Here I am, got a little life. It ain't all that great, but it could be a lot better, but whatever. And I just felt like this was my own civic duty in a way to, do something with my life. And I wasn't really doing that much else. But yeah, folks, anybody out there wants to call me tonight, phone lines are open, 276-524-0047. Any of my Facebook users out there, you can contact me directly through Facebook. I would be more than happy to take your call, whether it's a video call, a voice call, it doesn't really matter. I'd love to hear from any of you. It's been a pretty quiet weekend, to say the least. Like I said, I've been catching up on some work and this, that, and the other. I meant to put a show out Friday night, but I got a little busy and I was tired as hell, so I ended up falling asleep and didn't do much yesterday. Just done a little work around the house and done a little homework. But yeah, I need y'all to help me though, folks. Any way y'all can. I got a GoFundMe out there. You can send it directly to my PayPal. But now my site's down. It will be back up tomorrow. Any of y'all that don't follow me on my Twitter page at Real Big Al Morgan, you need to. That way you can stay up to date on the latest shows, the latest news that's going on. Follow me on Facebook also. Facebook.com/Big Al Morgan. You can also follow me or like me at Facebook.com/Real Alex Morgan. But yeah, we got a lot of good news for y'all tonight. Some videos that I haven't been able to share with y'all lately. That's
Maxine Waters has struck again. The California Congresswoman has become a celebrity on the left lately for a willingness to say bizarre things that seem at times untethered from reality. She has a particular dislike, apparently, for HUD Secretary Ben Carson, weirdly. A month ago, she vowed to, paraphrasing here, take apart his rear end. Now she's vowing further harassment. Watch this.
Ben Carson, we've got to come before my committee. If you think reclaiming my time that I did with the you wake up, Ben Carson.
So what exactly about about Ben Carson makes Maxine Waters so mad? Is it HUD policies, or is it something else? Jumaane Williams is a New York City councilman, and he joins us tonight. Councilman, thanks a lot for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I don't know if you've ever talked to Ben Carson. You probably don't agree with some of the things he says, but he couldn't be a nicer man, a more gentle person. You saw him during the debates. I mean, it's very hard to think of anyone being mad at Ben Carson. And
The original first question, which is for me, where we are in this country, we have to be honest. And to me, the Trump administration, particularly much of the conservative agenda, we have to ask why people who believe neo-Nazism, why people who believe in supremacy support those agendas, support those ideologies, support those policies. And Ben Carson is a part of those who support it. And it is a problem. And
wait, so is Ben Carson a white supremacist too now?
And
Maybe he sincerely believes what he believes. Why are you trying to tar him with white supremacy?
That's fine. Then we just have to acknowledge, as long as we're acknowledging that the Nazis and the supremacists believe them as well because of their exclusive policies and who they're going to exclude and who they're going to hurt.
Do you know what McCarthyism was? That was smearing people unfairly with the beliefs of those they had nothing in common with. He would say,
this is not
I would say, wait, hold on, no, but Jumaane, did you know, you're a vegetarian, so was Adolf Hitler. Are you a Nazi? I mean, that's it's insane.
I'm being sincere. So
Like
the
this
reason
is-
I'm going to be sincere.
Okay, yeah.
The reason I'm saying it is because we need to be honest about what we're doing, so then we can move forward.
You need to scare the crap out of your constituents so they don't ask hard questions about why you're not making their lives
the
better.
question is, when we're
You know
honest
exactly
about
what
what's
you're
actually
doing.
happening, then we can move forward.
Right. You represent a poverty-stricken, violent part of New York. But
No,
rather
you
than,
are
but when
a
people
great
look, when your
mouthpiece for people who
constituencies,
believe in exclusion.
all right, change the subject again. Anyone criticize he was a racist?
No,
but I'm just saying
absolutely
it's
not.
pretty
I didn't say
easy
that.
for politicians
Look,
like
what I
you
do
to
know
say,
is we've seen
don't
this
ask
in
questions
history
about how your lives
over
suck. Just
and
what's the
over
story
again.
here?
And so I'm very excited that history is going to exonerate people who are talking like me and frown upon people who are speaking like you.
Ooh, now I'm worried, Councilman.
I'm
Probably
not.
should be, actually, considering the way the country is going.
No, but I'm
Thanks for
talking to
coming
the
on.
people
No,
who
I
want
get
your
it. I
topic.
get it. I get it. Thanks.
This
Mnuchin, I want to make sure
this is from July 27th.
that we're all operating here with the same understanding. Even though you are not sworn in, do you realize you are under oath?
I do, thank you.
Thank you very much. Are you familiar
This is her grilling Steve Mnuchin, I'm sorry, Russia and Trump.
with the May 23rd letter I sent to you along with several of my Democratic colleagues on this committee?
Don't worry, I've got us. I've got her, son. Don't you worry. Oh God, my live link has just died like a son of a bitch. Excuse my language, Lord. Excuse me. I got backup though here. Hold on.
Yes, I am.
Do you understand that this committee not only has jurisdiction but a responsibility to oversee the activities of the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network?
Yes.
Given that the Treasury maintains these types of records, and given your department's statements that the agency takes responsiveness to congressional requests very seriously and is committed to providing useful and appropriate responses to requests from congressional members, is there some reason why I did not get a response to the letter that I sent May 23rd?
So, Ranking Member Waters, first of all, let me thank you for your service to California. Being a resident of California, I appreciate everything that
Thank
you've
you very
done
much.
for the community
I
there.
don't want to take my time up for
I
that,
also
but I
have
am
appreciated the opportunity to meet with
reclaiming
you
my time.
several times
Reclaiming my
when
time.
we were doing our
Reclaiming my time.
The time belongs to the gentlelady from California.
Let me just say to you, thank you for your compliments about how great I am, but I don't want to waste my time on me. I want to know about the May 23rd letter. You know about it? Why did you not respond to me and my colleagues?
I was going to answer that.
Just please go straight to the
And
answer.
Mr. Chairman, I thought when you read the rules, you acknowledged that I shouldn't be interrupted and that I would have
Reclaiming
the
my
opportunity.
time. What he failed to tell you was when you're on my time, I can reclaim it. He left that out, so I'm reclaiming my time. Please, will you respond to the question of why I did not get a response, me and my colleagues, to the May 23rd letter?
Well, I was going to tell you my response.
Just tell me.
Okay, so first of all, okay, let me just say that the Department of Treasury has cooperated extensively with the Senate Intel Committee, with the House
Reclaiming
Intel
my time.
Committee, with the
Reclaiming my
Senate
time.
Judiciary
Reclaiming my
Committee.
time.
Okay,
Reclaiming
matter of
my
fact,
time.
Mr. Secretary,
Reclaiming my
the time belongs to the gentlelady from California.
perhaps, Mr. Chairman, I don't understand the rules because I
Reclaiming
thought I
my
was allowed to
time.
answer questions.
Reclaiming my time. Would you please explain the rules and do not take that away from my time?
We will give the gentlelady adequate time So what I read, Mr. Secretary, were statements of the ranking member and Democratic colleagues on how administration witnesses should be treated, not necessarily the way they will be treated. So the time belongs to the gentlelady from California, but I assure you majority members will allow you to answer the question when it is our time.
Okay, so what I was saying is that we have provided substantial information. We believe there's significant overlap. And matter of fact, I would say that we spoke to your Chief Oversight Counsel yesterday. We have been responsive, and we are trying to coordinate with you the response, and we've suggested that you get the information through the other committees. But I would like to emphasize we believe we've been very responsive.
Reclaiming my time.
And we'll
Thank
continue
you
to do
very
so.
much. You left a message yesterday, or someone on staff left a message.
No, we didn't leave a message.
Reclaiming my
We spoke to
time.
the Chief
Reclaiming my
Oversight
time.
Counsel.
Reclaiming my time. You did not respond. You left a message. Let us keep going. If a bank identifies suspicious activity related to potential money laundering or sanctions violations by the Trump Organization involving Russian persons, would such a bank have a legal obligation to report it to FinCEN?
Can you repeat your question, please?
If a bank identifies suspicious activity related to potential money laundering or sanctions violations by the Trump Organization involving Russian persons, would such a bank have a legal obligation to report it to FinCEN?
Yes, if a U.S. institution had any suspicious activity, they would be required to file a SAR, which would go to FinCEN.
Thank you. If FinCEN received reports of suspicious activity involving potential violations of money laundering or sanctions involving President Trump, his immediate family and associates, would FinCEN immediately share it with the Justice Department, Special Counsel Mueller, or other interested law enforcement officials? Or would you generally wait until you received a request from law enforcement for this type of information?
Let me just comment that I can't comment on any specific actions of FinCEN because they're confidential, but I can assure you that FinCEN would respond to any issues revolving the Trumps no different than they would respond to anybody else.
And so the question is whether or not FinCEN would immediately share it with the Justice Department, Special Counsel Mueller, and other interested law enforcement officials. Or again, would you generally wait until you received a request from law enforcement for this type of information?
Again, what I would assure you is that FinCEN would respond to those situations no different than anybody else, and FinCEN and Treasury have cooperated extensively with, as I said before, the three other committees.
You these questions that I have presented to you. Let me continue. Have any President Trump has asserted over government officials with key oversight responsibilities, from Sally Yates to James Comey to Robert Mueller to Jeff Sessions. How can we be sure that you, in your own oversight role, will appropriately review the sale of assets or property to foreign entities by top administration officials? This includes, for example, reviews involving the sale of assets by the White House Communications Director, Anthony Scaramucci, and the president's son-in-law and advisor, Jared Kushner. Can you assure us that you would recommend blocking such a sale in the event it indicates the foreign entity may seek to unduly influence U.S. policy, even if doing so may jeopardize your position as secretary?
Well, let me assure you, I take my position as CFIUS very seriously. I have not had anybody in any way try to that I am not making any comment about any potential decision that I may make about a confidential item, but I will say I have not been aware that he was ever considered for a position that required
Senator Sanders.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for this important hearing this morning.
Lending credibility to that notion. And though corruption knows no particular age, race or creed, there's one group of Washington insiders who seem to pop up on the malfeasance radar with somewhat stunning regularity: the Congressional Black Caucus. From Charles Rangel, DNY, being found guilty of 11 ethics violations, to shamed former Congresswoman on 3 counts of ethics violations by the House Ethics Committee. Counts of violating House rules and the Federal Ethics Code in connection with her effort to arrange a 2008 meeting between Treasury officials and representatives with One United Bank. The panel said Waters, who
but was found that she did no wrongdoing. Maxine Waters, the biggest attacker on Trump in politics. Any party, Republican, Democrat, Independent, you name it. Husband for the Maxine Waters family, One United received $12 million in bailout funds. After 3 years of special investigation, the Democrat-controlled Ethics Committee ruled that Maxine Waters didn't technically do anything wrong. The ruling came after unearthing her, quote, more than family, unquote, business practices, making her grandson have it. They're guilty than of anything, and here they are pointing fingers at our elected official, our elected leader of the free world. Not to mention trying to upset and cause riots and come to Virginia, which was probably a staged event in Charlottesville. And it's all funded by good loving Democrats like George Soros, folks. George Soros. The Jew who led many thousands of Jews to their deaths by getting their trust. Let me tell you something. Look, and they said, either help me round up Americans and have them shipped to death camps. I would say, go ahead and kill me, buddy, because I'm not doing no such thing. Okay? I've got too much. Their governments. He's been doing this. Has been going on for years, folks. This is nothing new. That's right. And meanwhile, your mainstream media
the fires that were started and the violence is being started. The question is, and I don't know.
Yeah,
so this is an innocent.
Yeah.
Who is running Berkeley, and why can't they protect free speech? What's your problem in Berkeley? Why can't you protect free speech? If you need me to help you out, we can get some people that will actually protect the First Amendment. Okay? You know where we are. Call us. We'll help you. But this sort of thuggery going on in your streets, on your college campuses, is an absolute disgrace.
Okay.
That thing to do with Antifa. Yeah. Meanwhile, the attacks keep coming on Trump from retired newscasters, anchors, whatever you want to call them.
Tax, speech, and
out in the open to everyone.
And as you showed, his Secretary of State on Sunday said, I'm not associating myself. In effect, he said, I'm not associating myself with the President said
Have
in
you ever seen
Charlottesville. No, I've not seen it, and neither has anybody else. This is unique, as so much with the Trump presidency. First of all, we have never had an incoming president, first-term president, get off to such a chaotic, unsteady start as this.
According to who? According to Dan Rather? Huh.
The general pattern is the president is most popular.
That's according to Dan Rather, folks. Don't believe that till you hear it straight from the horse's mouth. Okay. His speech in Springfield, it was incredible. It was beautiful. I've never heard a speech like that one from any U.S. president in my life. Okay. He spoke of nothing but the best. Available now, and some really good reasons for that, and I really hope that everyone sees what's going on. They keep getting more ridiculous by the day, to tell you the truth. But now this right here is something all its own. This North Korea stuff. I don't know what this video is going to show. It's entitled, "We'll See, Trump on Military Action Against North Korea." a sort of economic war, if you will, with boycotting anybody that does business
No,
with
I would argue that
North Korea.
Democracy. Scandals happen all the time. The question is, how do democracies respond to those scandals?
And what will it mean for the wider region? I think one of your children.
Cancel that. Kim's final warning. Jim Mathis raises threat of total annihilation of North Korea as he reveals President Trump has briefed on the many military responses available. And the U.S. could take economic or military action after North Korea detonated a hydrogen bomb. U.S. President suggests written by James Wilkinson and Jenny Staton and Keith Griffith and Mail Online. U.S. Secretary of Defense James Mathis has raised the threat of the total annihilation of North Korea in the aftermath of an early morning hydrogen bomb test by North Korea. In a statement outside the White House on Sunday afternoon, Mathis said that Trump has been briefed on each of the military options available during a meeting with national security heads. Or our allies will be met with a massive military response. A response both effective and overwhelming. End quote. He urged Kim Jong-un to, quote, take heed, unquote, of the UN Security Council's, quote, unidentified, unquote, objection to the test of the 100 kiloton bomb test, which namely North and to do so, end quote. General Joseph Dunford, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, who had present but silent throughout, then left without answering any questions. President Trump was not seen during the announcement. For TV They included Secretary Mathis. Do you believe they've got a nuclear warhead that could go on a missile? Mr. Secretary, is war inevitable? And is the president going to war? Secretary Mathis. Fire exercise simulating an attack on the North's nuclear site, hitting designated targets in the East Sea, the report added, quoting the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The training come in response to the North's 6th nuclear test and involved the country's Hyongmu Trump had already made threats by Twitter earlier in the day that appeasement with the North Korea won't work and that, quote, they only understand one thing. On Sunday morning, as he left church hours after the tweets, the president remained tight-lipped when asked if he might order a preemptive strike. When asked by the press, he responded, quote, we'll see, end quote. However, after Mathis's remarks, it would appear that the U.S. is only willing to act on retaliation to threats. Although it's ambiguous as to whether that would include verbal threats or only outright attacks. Those remarks would appear to put the U.S. more or less in accord with what appeared to be China's own policy last month. On August 11th, state newspaper The Global Times warned that if the U.S. ignited instigate military action, then China would not become involved. Although, to the editorial, quote, if North Korea launched missiles that threaten the U.S. soil first and the U.S. retaliates, China will stay neutral, end quote. And then, quote, if U.S. and South Korea carry out strikes and try to overthrow the North Korean regime and change the political pattern of the They are the mafia of the South, the cornbread mafia. That's them. Although let's get back to this article. There's a few lines left. Although the Global Times is not officially a mouthpiece for the government, experts said that the remarks were likely in line with official government policy that would appear to put the ball in Kim's court. While Beijing has no love for the Kim regime, it fears losing the country as a bulwark against U.S. ally South Korea. Re-identification would likely mean North Korea falling under the control of Seoul, and by extension, America. More immediately, it is concerned about the risk considering, in addition to other options, stopping all trade with any country doing business with North Korea, end quote. That was likely a veiled threat to China, which provides 85% of North Korea's imports and buys 83% of its exports. But U.S.-China trade totaled more than $600 billion last year. To the Office of Economic Complexity, but entirely possible that Trump's remarks were made to pressure the country, North Korea's only ally, into renewing efforts to rein Kim in. But refusing to do business with China would cause huge damage to U.S. companies that have invested in or sell products to in the country. In China, best in tech there, including pumping $1 billion into rideshare app Didi Chuxing last year. But a string of other American businesses have huge investments in the country, including Walmart, KFC, and McDonald's, all of which are popular there. General Motors, Nike, Boeing, rebuilding. Even discounting the China factor, a string of U.S. allies do trade with North Korea, including the UK, Germany, and France. As well as America itself, U.S. products made up 1.6% of all imports to North Korea in 2016. Speaking to Fox News Sunday, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin said he was putting together a package to cut off the U.S.'s ties with North Korea. Here you have a graph that shows all the people who do business with North Korea. I'll put a page also. If anybody would like to read the rest of this, I'm about read out.
Missile test which could hit the Punggye region, which is where that nuclear test yesterday took place. It's in the northeastern part of North Korea. They also tested F-15 air-to-surface missiles, long-range missiles, demonstrating that they could go after North Korea's nuclear infrastructure. More military exercises, closer cooperation with the United States, but on the other side, they're saying they need to really rally the international community to their cause to put more pressure diplomatically and economically to isolate North Korea.
We had a small group national security meeting today with the president and the vice president about the latest provocation on the Korean Peninsula. We have many military option one of them. We made clear that we have the ability to defend ourselves and our allies, South Korea and Japan, from any attack, and our commitments among the allies are ironclad. Any threat to the United States or its territories, including Guam, or our allies, will be met with a massive military response, a response both effective and overwhelming. Kim Jong-un should take heed of the United Nations Security Council's unified voice. All members unanimously agreed on the threat North Korea poses, and they remain unanimous in their commitment to the denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula. Because we are not looking to the total annihilation of a country, namely North Korea. But as I said, we have many options to do so. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
That was the news conference that the article that I just read was. The geologics on this earthquake pointed that it was man-made, it was on the ground, it was not in the ground. I think this is the video that I watched earlier this afternoon. At least I'm hoping. I'll play it for you and we'll see. So it's loaded up here. I accidentally hit a wrong button. I apologize for that. That was a bad accident. Hold on.
We're getting new information about the magnitude of that seismic activity, that explosion in northeastern North Korea. We're now hearing, according to was of a magnitude 6.3. That is an upgrade of the initial number of 5.2. We're now hearing that indeed it was a massive explosion of 6.3 on the Richter scale. We, of course, working to get more details, but we can tell you that the South Koreans and the USGS have all said that this was a man-made. World War II. The second test in 2009 was bigger, 2 to 6 kilotons according to the Arms Control Association. A third test followed in 2013. That was the first one carried out under leader Kim Jong-un. In January of last year, a fourth nuclear test. This time, the regime claiming it successfully detonated a hydrogen bomb. And then September 9th, 2016, a fifth nuclear test, and the most powerful one yet, estimated at 10 kilotons. But the
And obviously they're not telling the public much about North Korea's capabilities, which is scary to say the least. It really is. You know, there's just a limited amount of information that we have pertaining to their military or nuclear capabilities, either one. And that itself is very, very scary to me. I don't know about you all. If y'all get in on this conversation, call me 276-524-0047. I'll be here to take your calls for probably about another hour. I don't know. For a little while. I know it's late. I know y'all had a long weekend, but hey, this stuff's important. On nuclear site to, quote, strongly warn, unquote, North Korea. Assuming, I don't know, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna negotiate some finances with the company that I've been working with tomorrow, and I don't know, we try to have this by noon if possible. first attracted to Camiro's, quote, smile like the sun, unquote. The princess, the palace, and the shrinking royal line. Quote, I was aware since my childhood that her fiancé, Key Hero, the couple met 5 years ago while studying at the same university. In the televised conference, he described the princess as someone who quietly watched over him, quote, like the moon, unquote. Princess Mako, 25, is the eldest child of Prince Fumhito, whose official title is Nancy Pelosi condemns Antifa for the first time as radical leftists wear out their welcome. Valerie Richardson, the Washington Times, Tuesday, August 29th. It took a while, but Democrats may finally have had enough of the Antifa. In a Tuesday statement, House Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi called out by name the Antifa, or, quote, anti-fascist, unquote, for the first time since Sunday's leftist violence in Berkeley. Quote, our democracy has no room for inciting violence or encouraging the public. 100 Antifa members, many wearing black clothes and masks, jumped police barriers Sunday at a Berkeley protest, chasing down and attacking a small number of I lost my place, I'm sorry. We have deep reverence for the constitutional right to peaceful dissent and free speech, unquote, Mrs. Pelosi said in Tuesday's statement, quote, nonviolence is a fundamental to that right. Let us use